Get me in trouble, like it sometimes does. All right. We are live. I am Kristen for Keep Reading Kristen. You can find me on all of the socials, including keepreadingkristen.com. And I'm here with Kate Alexandra, and I'm so excited to talk to her about her book, A World Apart, because it is blending my favorite thing with a little bit of romance, and that's K-pop. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Stay Teeny. And so I got on Amazon and said K-pop books. And I got on TikTok and said K-pop books. And then Kate kept popping up in my FYP. And I was like, oh, this sounds good. And I went and ordered your book right away. And I read it in 24 hours. So I'm so
Blimey.
excited you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on with me today. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about A World Apart, because I loved it. And I think every K-pop stan should read it. So yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. And thank you to the algorithm gods for clearly blessing both of us with that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Must be all those hashtags that I absolutely pound into every single thing that I put in. Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Hashtag ATs, hashtag Songwalk, because that's probably how I found you. No.
I actually have never used those. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm really hesitant to use
Yeah.
fandoms and groups and hashtags. The only ones I've ever done are are relevant to, my dedication in the beginning of the
Right.
book. So I
Yeah.
am I am fearful of invoking the fandoms because I don't want to take the mick because I am in those fandoms and I wouldn't appreciate being invoked
Hmm.
unnecessarily. So
Agree.
yeah,
Agreed.
not about that life at all. So
Yeah.
a little bit about me, I guess, and a little bit about my book. Well, first of all, hi, I'm Kate. Um, I'm from the UK. I'm hesitant to call myself a full-time author because I'm kind of a full-time author out of not necessity. Let's call it like life plan gone slightly astray. I lost my job and I suddenly had a lot of time on my hands. And I thought, hey, there has only ever been one thing I've ever really wanted to do. And I tell you what, it wasn't working for corporate. So I might as well use all this free time I now have to do the one thing I've always wanted to do, which was to write my book.
Yeah.
Um, I started writing it in the summer last year, 2024, just
Oh.
for funsies. It was actually originally a fan fiction. It was on Wattpad for all of about 3 weeks, I think. And as I was writing it, I figured out that it was a full length novel. It wasn't just a bit of fun after a while. So I unpublished it. I think I only put like 3 chapters on there, and then I reworked it from there. And it took me, I want to say somewhere between like maybe 6 to 9 weeks to actually finish writing it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know, I get that reaction a lot. It didn't take me long. It took me probably half that time to revise it just to make sure that it was, not a heaping pile of trash. I mean,
Which
there
it's
was a
not.
possibility. Well, I hope it's not a heaping pile of trash. People have been very kind and not used those words. So
No,
hopefully
it's
it's not.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
Um,
wonderful. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the story other than it's about
sure, sure,
K-pop?
sure. Let me hold it up. Let me hold it up so everyone, just in case everyone forget, this is what I'm kidding. I'm not actually going to do that because it's a bit hokey. So, A World Apart, A World Apart is about well, it's not really about a K-pop idol per se. It is about a young
Right.
woman. She
Hmm.
moved to LA to pursue her dream, which is music production. It's the one thing that she's pummeled time and years and effort and dedication into. It's the one thing that she wants out of her life. So she moves to LA to pursue the dream because that's why you move to LA, right? And
Right.
while she's there, she's working as an intern at a recording studio called Pisces. And she meets celebrities all the time because in a recording studio you just kind of do, right? But the one
Right.
person she never expected to meet was a member of her favorite group called G Vibes, which is a K-pop group. And then suddenly he's just there one day. And they were never supposed to meet. That was not the plan. They were never, she's an intern, right? So
Right.
interns don't rub shoulders with the talent. And yet she does. And from there on outwards, the story is an exploration of what happens when two people who are fundamentally never supposed to meet do meet and try
Mm.
to muddle through a relationship in a world that would be inherently hostile to their relationship. Because at the bones of their relationship is
Right.
the idea that K-pop idols cannot date. Most K-pop idols, or at least most
Hmm.
rookie K-pop idols, as you probably know, they have dating bans written into their contracts.
Yep.
So it's a huge faux pas in the K-pop industry. You do not date for one reason or another, whether it's because of the dating ban or whether it's an accessibility issue, which is a whole other thing. So
Right.
how these two people from completely separate worlds navigate a relationship amongst all these obstacles and whether or not that can work and whether or not it should work and whether or not it's healthy.
Right. And
In a
that's a
nutshell.
yeah, yeah, and that's a big theme really with the main characters. Like, how do they grow and adapt to this whole situation? And what I love about it is there is huge growth and self-reflection, and do I really, is this good for me? And you delve
Mm,
that into that without giving any spoilers, because I think it's easy for us, especially as fans, to focus our whole life, not even just in K-pop but in our relationships anyway. i think
mm,
i think inherently humans do that. We put our all into this narrow little, box of our relationship sometimes, and we forget the bigger picture of things, or what's
yes.
healthy for us. And the characters really go through that. And not only that, but you also have an element of sexual harassment in there as well. And
Mm,
that the main character has to navigate that. And what do you
mhm.
do with that when you want to pursue your dreams? Because that
Yes.
happens in the real world as well. So,
Yes.
as you were writing that, were you thinking, okay, I want to include, you know, this part of it so young girls can look at this and say, hey, that's, if that makes you uncomfortable, you need to do something about it,
Mm,
because June doesn't really save her
yeah.
per se, but he wants to, and she's got
Mm,
to navigate it on her own, which she tells him, I need to navigate it on my own. So how
mm.
did that play on in the story for you?
Yeah, yeah, that was I really struggled with that element actually because there was a whole part of me that wanted to turn it into a a whole thing. Like I wanted to blow it up, you know, I wanted to use my
Yeah.
own personal and political
Mm,
voice there to really shout about how this does happen. It
right.
shouldn't happen. It sucks. Let's punish him. Let's string him out to dry.
Right.
But reality is that doesn't happen. It doesn't
Oh,
tend to happen, especially in the music industry, which is,
right.
I mean, I could probably think of 10 examples off the top of my head. I actually
Hmm.
based that producer on, I won't say his name because I don't want us to get into trouble, but you probably know
Right.
who I'm talking about. I
Mm,
based that on a similar situation.
yeah.
Um, and that's why I decided not to have his, what do they call it, a come to Jesus moment. I
Yes.
decided not to have the public flogging because the reality is that that doesn't always happen, unfortunately.
Right.
There
Hmm.
will be there will be pickups later on. He doesn't
Oh,
he doesn't completely get away with it. I won't say any more, but
right.
yeah. He does, yeah, things happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really struggled with that aspect because I wanted to accurately portray something that does happen and it shouldn't happen and how the majority of people, for whatever reason, choose to deal with it because that is just real life.
It
And it
is, and
sucks.
it does, and unfortunately, it happens more often than not, I think.
Mhm.
And so many women are afraid to say anything.
Yes.
And even though this is, this sweet love story of a book, like I love their whole relationship, and I love the friendships too. Like there's really strong friendship in this book, and that's important for all
Yes.
women to read, and not just women, but all humans.
Yes.
Um, and to see that, that friendship and that relationship doesn't have to be this big huge sexual thing. It can be this
Mm.
sweet romance that we all want. And I don't know, when I'm dreaming about my K-pop idols, I'm like, oh, I would love a sweet little romance too. But I don't know, I like that you included that without blowing it up, because I think, sometimes when we do blow it up, our worlds have a hard time later on in life, and she's still
Mm.
following her dream. So I
Yeah,
love
still
that.
trying to figure that out.
Yeah. So, did you always want to be a writer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no hesitation there whatsoever. I remember the very first thing I wrote. I was maybe 4 or 5. No, no, I will
I will.
expand on that. I was copying Peter Rabbit. I was copying the
Oh,
book, one of the stories from Peter Rabbit, and I was just copying it into my notepad. And somewhere along, and I really remember this, and whether or not I've made it up over the years, I couldn't tell you, but I really remember thinking, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life, as opposed to like being a
ah,
nurse or a whatever else that kids tend to answer, like a cat or whatever.
right.
No,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do, and it's what I've always wanted to do, and it's what I've always done. I've just never gotten to the point where I published before. So
Oh, I love that. I love that. Um, I've always wanted to write as well, and I ended up being a teacher as my second career in life. And I still have that kids book on the side, and I'm like, at some point, I'm just gonna gotta do it. Yeah, I
just
gotta
do
do
it.
it.
Just throw it out there.
Yeah,
I can recommend an excellent editor for you. So
yeah, I would love that. So of course, I'm gonna ask about characters. Are they based on, no, are they based on people we might know or groups we might know?
so I just need to check out the window if the FBI is watching me. No, do you know what it is? The CIA couldn't get that out of me. I would take that one to my
I know
grave.
that one is a hard one because as a K-pop stan, like you don't want to call out groups and members and
Mm.
those sorts of things, but boy, we have our favorites. So, um,
Yes.
okay, so I know you're a multi-stan. Who are you
Yes.
standing?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna alienate some people here. Or I mean, I feel like I feel like if you pay attention to my social media for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 minutes, you could
Yeah.
probably figure out at least a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an army. I I think that one's probably the most obvious. I am an army. I'm a stay. I'm a blink. I'm kind of everything because I so
Yeah.
voraciously appreciate the art form that goes into K-pop. I think I was an army first,
Yeah.
and I think that's just because it was at the time where they did exponentially explode globally, and that's when I became aware. Because otherwise, I'm just this millennial kid, bopping along in my car to the same stuff I've been listening to for the past 20 years. It takes quite a lot to
Right.
get through. So
Yeah.
I would say they probably broke the K-pop ice, if you like. And from there on outwards, I became
Yeah.
more aware of the art form in general.
Right.
So I would say that even though I stand more fandoms than others, that's probably just because I've invested more time into looking into them. But as an art
Hmm.
form, I
Yeah.
really appreciate K-pop. I think it's spectacular. I think
Me
everything
too.
about it, apart from maybe some of the behind the scenes stuff, I think everything about it is absolutely spectacular. I
Me
appreciate
too.
it so much.
Me too. And I wish more people had that appreciation. What do you
Yes.
listen to when you're writing? Or who do you listen
I
to when you're writing?
I listen to a mix. I actually do have a playlist at the moment that I sort of dip in and out to or add songs to when I'm writing the new book. But I actually listen to a lot of instrumental stuff when I'm writing because I'm a mood based writer and
Right.
I find that that music really helps. So I listen to like the Oblivion soundtrack, for instance, or I listen
Yeah.
to Hosier, or I even have like a book talk instrumental soundtrack that I listen to for various themes.
Oh, wow.
Or music from soundtracks. Soundtracks are chef's kiss. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really changes.
That's awesome. What's the writing process like? Did you storyboard it out? Do you have notes? Do you outline, or you just wing it?
Do you know what? Yes to all of that. I used to be, and I'm quite proud of it as well. I used to be a complete pantser at heart, through and
Yeah.
through, pantser.
Yeah.
And then last year, when I started getting serious about A World Apart, when I realized it was something that I wanted to really put out in the world, I bought a piece of software called Scrivener,
Hmm.
and that allows you to plot separate chapters on like this corkboard style imagery. And I found that game changing. It allowed me to plot. And I have completely converted. I'm now no longer a pantser. I am now a plotter. So I plot maybe 10 to 15 chapters at a time. So it might not be like the whole thing, like a
Right.
quote here or there, or the gentle bones of it. And that's pretty much what it looks like. And at the moment, when Worlds Collide is done, it is done. I I'm going through a developmental edit of it right now. So I'm revising, I'm putting things in, I'm fleshing people and stuff out. So I write the book, then I flesh it out and pick up threads that I've lost. And then my
Like,
editor is going to take it in about a week and make it, editorially fancy and stuff.
yay. When do we get the cover reveal?
My
I'm not greedy.
No, I too. I'm feral for it. I I am so excited because you see this. This is I can't I love it. Everything about this I love. I designed
Yeah.
this with my cover artist. I was so lucky to work with them. I followed them for years. I had this idea in my head and it was really clear. And I had a few like resources and reference pieces, and I pinned them all together, and I sent this really detailed like essay to my cover artist, and that's how that cover came about, and they just nailed it. And I'm working with them again
Oh,
for
yay.
Collide. I know I'm so excited. It was really, really important to me to have that continuity. And they are going to take it on in June when they have the availability. So I booked them back in January.
Oh,
So
wow.
in June. So I guess I will tease it probably not long before the actual book itself comes out, frankly. So
Yay. So June is going to be a wonderful month for me then. I see Stray Kids in New York City,
oh,
um, ATs in New York City,
ooh.
fly to Paris in July and see Stray Kids again,
Oh, rubbing it in
th-
now.
and then new cover and new book. So,
New books in July, so you'll have to wait for that
right. So,
bit.
but
Mm,
it'll be a fabulous summer for me. Fabulous.
yes, I'm glad to help.
For all of us. So I want to just share some things in the chat before we play Would You Rather because I'm super excited about that. Um, I as I was searching for K-pop books in general, I was looking for something that had really great writing. And as soon as I picked up your book, I was like sucked in. And so I love that about it. And I
Thank
really
you.
cannot wait for the second book. And I can see that from the chat as well. Welcome, Chloe, Dan, and Amy. I'm going to show Chloe's first. So she said, I know you're writing a second book to this one, but would you ever write another K-pop book?
I get in trouble here. If you've ever been on one of my lives, I am. Okay. I mean, I guess I can probably, I said it in a live now, so I guess I can probably say it. Uh, yes. Yes.
Yay.
I am. It, see, I got myself into trouble with this about a month ago when I said I was talking about my books and I was saying well, in my head I said these two books. What came out of my mouth was in this trilogy.
Oh, oh, oh,
That
oh,
was quite similar to my reaction.
that's exciting. Yay. I love these characters. And this is Dan's comment is right down with this whole series, down with TK, Becca for president. President of the United States, please. And I hope the FBI is not listening to this live either. I I would
Take it
take
on board, FBI.
I would take Becca for president. Totally. I love how feisty she is.
She
um,
is. She is. She's
and then
awesome.
Amy said, I love this book. And she needs it now, sis. I agree.
I mean,
Arc
babes, you don't
reader,
want to read it at the moment. It's not
arc
looking good.
reader, beta reader, send it over. I won't tell anybody.
See, the thing is, while I'd be
I
down
know.
for that in every other, my editor would disagree because I am
Oh, I
yet to be able
know.
to differentiate between breathe and breath in a sentence. So I say it in my
Yeah.
head. It doesn't come out on the page though. So
Yeah, I know. The whole writing editing process is always fascinating to me. I went into teaching rather than like publishing, and I don't know what I was thinking because boy, do I sure love books. And then you add them to things I love like K-pop too, and hey, right. So
okay,
one of my
children's book with K-pop.
no, it's actually a dog.
Oh,
Like
okay,
the children's book is about a dog, another thing I love. Um,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I had a little blind dog and he had a little cane and his name was spelled really
Oh,
wonky. So I'm hoping it's going to be a braille book about my blind dog. So we'll see.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, but my favorite thing to do on these book talks is to play Would You Rather. And it
Mhm.
takes a special book and a special author to play. And I'm so excited you agreed to play. Um, this is, it's just, there. It's so much fun. So here we go. I will try not to make it too horrible, decision making wise. Um,
Okay.
and you're a multi-stand, so this is kind of tricky because, and I tried not to put in any groups because, we all stand different groups. So I tried to, not be too bad. First one, here we go. Get front row tickets to your favorite group or get backstage passes.
Son of a biscuit. Oh, Lord. Are there any stipulations, like, what backstage might look like? As in,
I don't
like,
know.
okay.
I,
Okay.
I gotta leave it wide open because they all do
Shoot.
something different. Like AT's does send off and they're like right in your face, and I think I'd pass out and have a stroke right there because I'm old. I don't know. I'm gonna
Oh,
leave it
Lord.
open.
Oh, oh, God.
I
Oh,
think it
that's
would be I think it'd be really cool to be like off to the side on the backstage where you can see, not
yeah.
necessarily like just I like these shows are so well put together
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that the behind the scenes would be cool. I wouldn't want to be like in the under the stage part, where they're like changing and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I want to be like
That'd
off
be
to
a
the
bit
side
weird.
watching like
Watching from
everything.
behind the curtains kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would be
So I
so
don't know.
cool. But if
So
that wasn't an option, then it'd have to be front row seat because then you get the whole panorama. But backstage, you have the potential to, fangirl a smidgen. And it's not like,
yeah.
no one's suggesting we go 1980s at a Def Leppard concert or anything backstage.
Yeah.
Just, something nice and wholesome, like maybe give them a coffee or something.
Exactly. Exactly. I would love that. I'm glad you said that because I watch so many of these things and I just love, all of these fandoms and I'm like, what would I say? Like I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to say, "You're so cute." Everybody says that. I'd probably just stand there and be like, "They're really that close to me." I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's
there is that,
funny.
right? They must hear it all the time. I mean, look at poor Yoongi. Marry me, Yoongi. Although, to be fair, that that will never not be funny to me. It's a real guilty thing. That will never not be funny to me. I will watch every single video where that happens. I'm not even sorry about
Yeah, I know. We go down that TikTok trail and, Instagram reels of all
it.
of these everything. I love it all.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. Get a selfie with your bias. I'm going to say your alt bias in this one because I haven't asked you who your alt is. Or get a personalized letter from your alt bias.
Oh, I'm going with the letter. I love words. It's got to be the
Me too.
letter.
I think I would too because even when I'd be a little old lady, you'd still have that and remember that moment. I'm all about
Exactly.
that. Oh, that's a good one. All right. Um, Watch the concert alt VIP of your bias group for free for 1 hour, or meet the members one by one within 1 minute.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the VIP package because I don't feel like I necessarily need to meet them, whereas I feel like I need to experience what a VIP performance might look like. And that's
Me
that's
too.
that's out of respect for these people. Like I don't want them to feel I wouldn't ever want anyone to feel performative in a sense. And I sometimes think that that's what
Hmm.
fan meets can be like. I'd rather have them
Me too.
perform where they are meant to be performing, if that makes sense.
Me too. Same thing. Would you rather have all the albums or go to all the concerts?
Well, I don't know if my knees could withstand going to all the concerts.
I know.
I would like to be physically able to go to all the concerts.
Yeah,
Might need a knee replacement afterward, but do you know it'd
I
be
know.
worth it? Let's go to all the concerts. Why
I
not?
know. I feel like you only live once, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's exactly why it's stray kids here, stray kids there. Like it's, that's
And
one of those
Paris.
things. Oh, in Paris. Yes. Paris.
Paris.
Um, be able to call your bias or be able to text your bias.
Oh, I'm gonna go text. I'm better in words. I'm super awkward in anything
Me,
unless
me too. Um, Texting your bias would be great because then you'd have all the words too.
exactly.
And, if they accidentally hit the call like you can do on Messenger sometimes, and all of a sudden they're calling you, that'd be cool too. I would like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, best of both worlds.
Yep. Sing with your bias or dance with your bias.
I'll sing, I can't dance with toffee. I can sing, but I can't dance with toffee. Might be funny though.
I love this one, and next time I'm on a plane, I'm going to be thinking about it. Would you rather sit next to another member of your alt group on a plane and your bias sits far away, or you're assigned as your bias's flight attendant?
I would definitely spill something in someone's lap if I was a flight
Me
attendant.
too.
No one wants me doing that job. I just no one wants doors to manual coming from me. I am not in that position. So I'd like to
Me
sit
too.
next to because they're all gonna be cool, right? Or you're
Oh
just gonna,
yes,
not bother them. But they're all gonna be cool.
me too. I don't think I'd bother them.
Yeah.
I'd be just like getting ready to text everybody that I just sat next to.
Yeah.
you know,
Or I'd be plotting the meet cute in my mind while saying absolutely nothing, maybe giving some crazy side eyes, but inadvertently.
and that would make a great book.
Wouldn't it though?
Mm.
Maybe you can write that one.
No, no, no. I'm going to wait for you to write it because you have fantastic writing. All right. Um, would you rather trade places with any idol you want, but they would have to live your life also for a whole week, or be tagged in all their posts on Instagram forever and ever?
Ever and ever. I mean, I couldn't even get through one dance rehearsal. Are we swapping bodies? Because then the stamina, I guess, would match.
Doesn't say.
Oh, open to interpretation. Let's assume no body swapping is occurring, in which case, original statement sticks. I couldn't get through one single dance rehearsal. However, I would appreciate the social media tagging.
Yeah, it would be like if it was forever, that would be cool because people would be going, "Who's that? Why are they always tagged? What's going on?" Like, dispatch would be
Exactly.
out dispatch would be outside your house, right?
I mean, they're welcome to. I've got a very aggressive cat, so
And and you have this book that everybody needs to read.
exactly. Backlist says
Yeah.
who?
Yes. Oh, this is really funny.
Hmm.
So Dan said, meeting them all in a minute, you mean speed dating?
I mean, no.
Speed
Uh,
dating.
speed dating. That's something I haven't heard for a while.
I
Speed dating.
mean, me
Think anyone
neither.
does that anymore?
I don't know.
Hmm.
And I love that Amy said this. Your book is my favorite ever, and you're my favorite indie author and my friend for life. So, do you know
Oh,
Amy? Are you really friends in real life?
we are book besties. We've
Oh, I
never
love
actually met
that.
in real life, but she is
Right.
my book bestie. She lives in the UK.
Oh,
So
I love that. Um, what are you reading these days?
I wish I had time to read. I don't. Do you know what though? I listen to audiobooks prolifically, so that is how I'm consuming at the moment. And I'm currently rereading, re-listening The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, the first one in the
Mm,
Mortal Instruments. And
yeah.
I read that when it first came out. So I had to like
Right.
wait for all of those, right? And as I was listening to it today, I was just thinking, this is probably the first book that I can identify like aggressive yearning in. And that's just an excellent thing for me to be listening to at the moment because, she's awesome, Cassandra Clare. The
She
last book I
is.
read, gosh knows, I genuinely cannot remember the last time I picked a book up. I barely have time. I go to bed and I'm so mentally exhausted. I'm out within like 30
Yeah.
seconds.
How do you step out of um the setting for your book and back into the real world? Is that hard?
No, I've actually never had that problem. There are times where I have to give myself a minute, like if I've just written a really emotional scene, whatever emotion it is, there are times where I just sort of have to put the laptop lid down and take a breath or a breathe, depending on which sentence my editor reads.
Right.
But no, I've never had a
Yeah.
problem like disassociating from my
Yeah.
writing into real life because I've got kids, right? So I need to go at a moment's notice. I need to go and get snacks. I need to go and wipe a bottom. I can't be
Yeah.
sitting there doing any of that and like, June did this. No.
I would love to do that though as a writer. Hold on a minute, I need to cry about this.
Yeah, no. Once that lid's down, that's it. I'm thinking about my next coffee. I'm making dinner. I've got the hoovering to do. So,
Yeah. What's the most interesting place you've ever had an idea for the book that you're
what's the most
writing? Like the
what in
most
the
interesting place, like, are you folding, socks or, buying, strawberries at the grocery store? Where's the most unusual place that you've thought of an idea to
well,
go in the
first of all,
book?
it's bold of you to assume I go anywhere interesting. I don't know, probably sitting in the car park while I'm waiting for
Mm,
my kids' school to let out. I'll just tap
yeah,
away an idea on my phone as it ruminates or
yeah,
marinates, I think is really probably the word. But yeah,
yeah,
no, that's probably about it. It comes to me, I think about it all the time. It's just sitting there and stringing away in the back of my mind until I eventually get around to writing it later.
yeah. Do you visualize the world that you're writing in?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
That's great.
I've heard. I didn't recently. I didn't know this, but apparently not everyone thinks visually like that. I just thought that was a
Hmm.
thing. But no, I
Yeah,
recently learned that not everyone has visual thoughts, whereas for me, it is clear as my window over there.
right.
So yes,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the scene.
I love
It's
to ask that
delightful.
because you're right. Not everybody has that ability, and even readers don't. And
Mm,
as a teacher, I find that fascinating because maybe that's why some of my students can't visualize what they're reading because
mm,
their brain doesn't process it that way. But then they can listen to the story and get the comprehension that way. So it's
mm.
interesting. My niece, who actually is the one who introduced me to the K-pop world, she can't visualize them, and she's a fanfic writer. And I'm like, how does that
Wow.
work as a writer? Like you can't
Mm.
visualize the world you're writing about. She takes pictures of places she finds fascinating, and that's how it happens. So she'd be
Wow.
like, "Oh
Okay.
yeah, the scene in this is actually like Panera down the road," and I'm like, "Oh." So now every time I go to Panera, I'm like, "Oh."
That
So that's interesting the way that
is.
that works, right?
She creates like a visual tapestry. That is
Yep.
interesting, and it's interesting that people have come up with different ways to work to the same essential sort of framework that we do.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So I'm so excited that you were on with me and got to play Would You Rather too and talk about this book because I seriously just adored it and the characters, and I can't wait till July now. And I only have 6 weeks of school and that'll get me into June. So I can do this. I can wait that long. Um, and so as soon as you say which day, I'm gonna be in the pre-order queue. Definitely.
That's
So
July the 30th, and it is available to pre-order right now.
the 30th.
Well,
Wait a minute, the 30th?
the
That's the end of
30th.
July.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's after I go and see Stray Kids. I had to have like a week to recover
I
afterwards.
know, right? Ah, I can't
Mm.
even wait. I know, I thought maybe I'll take the channel and come into London because I'm going with my 12-year-old. And then I was like, how much does that cost?
Oh, the Eurotunnel. Yeah, it's a second
Yeah,
mortgage
is that
that.
I know, it was crazy money. So I ruined my daughter for life with concerts because I took her to Paris in February to see ATs. That's her alt group.
Right,
Um,
okay.
and
Just casually.
It was the best concert of my 53-year life, and she cried through half of it because it was so wonderful for her.
Oh,
So I said to her, "Okay, I think I can probably do a summer trip for us. Where do you want to go?" She's like, "Back to Paris." And I'm like, "ATs isn't going to be there, but Stray Kids is." So that's what we're
that's
doing.
wonderful. That's
Yeah,
so
super
nice.
fun. So I haven't asked this, but who is your alt group? Like, is it BTS alt group?
I'd say yes. I'd say yes, it probably is
Yeah,
just because I've well, many
yeah,
different reasons, but I've stanned them the longest. I
yeah,
probably know more about them than I know of any other group, and I just feel like
yeah.
I really resonate with their messaging.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think I just like everything about them, honestly. I find them
yeah,
really inspirational. I think I find everything about them an inspiration, even the
yeah.
bad stuff. So,
Well, and I think that's lovely about K-pop fandom in general. Like
mm,
there's all of these really great messages in the culture and in, you know, a lot of times what they stand for too. So, and I that translates into, growth and looking at things in
mm,
another way too. So,
I agree.
ah, so thank you so much for coming on with me. I had a blast, and I hope that I get to London so we can have tea. And we could
Ah,
talk about your next book because I'll be reading all of them, especially now that
okay.
there's going to be a third one, and I seem to really be like flying over to Europe. So um, I'll go to
Frequent flyer
Massachusetts.
miles.
Yeah,
I'm not actually
exactly.
in London, but I'll cheerfully hop on a plane to come over to London.
So where are you in the UK, if you don't
I
mind asking? You don't
I
have to
won't
say.
I won't say exactly where I'm not what I'll say is I'm not in mainland UK.
Nice. Okay.
And that's actually the reason why I don't do things like TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
And sadly,
Yep.
I'm also not eligible to release an audiobook because I'm not in mainland UK. So if anyone ever
Oh
asks, that's
wow.
the reason. It is deeply, deeply frustrating.
Oh
But yeah,
wow.
so not in
Mm,
mainland UK.
that's a bummer because I could. Hmm. We
I
gotta
know.
change some. We gotta
I'm
change some
deeply
laws.
irritated. Deeply, deeply irritated by it. But it's just one of those little foibles.
Yeah, but we'll
I mean,
still keep taking books for the series.
honestly, if I ever get to the point where it's if I can fit it into the budget, then audiobook is a huge priority for me. I don't need to
Yeah.
go through Amazon to do audiobooks.
Mm,
There are other
mm,
studios that would do it, like Tantor, for
right.
example, do excellent
Right.
productions. So if it's ever in the budget, fantastic. But budget would be.
Kickstarter. Kickstarter.
I also can't do that from my location.
Oh
I
no,
know, I
we got
know. I live in a black hole.
GoFundMe? No. I don't
I
know if
actually
that's a
don't. I
thing.
know one of them does, but I don't think
Hmm.
GoFundMe. I don't think
Well,
that's.
we'll have to get your fan base to start thinking of some things.
I think yeah, yeah. I think
I,
the only thing that I really just need to do is to have. I mean, it's only been out since December, right? So I just need to have more people be aware of it and more people enjoy it, and then
yeah.
I can fit it in the budget because I'm not really here to make money. I just really want my books to be out there. So if I spend
Yeah.
all of the money I make putting it on an audiobook so that I can listen to it in the car, then fantastic. Job done. Life goal
Yeah.
achieved.
Yeah. I agree. Well, thank you so much. And I hope that you will come back on and talk to me about the second book.
It would be my pleasure.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that joined too and made comments in the chat. It was really lovely. And I hope to see you all next time.